Revenge is the family business. By ComplimentaryCuller. Read by My Lost and Found. Summary. All for One has 2 sons. Children hold grudges. This fic is about 1,000 words and 1 chapter. As always, link to the fic is in the description below. And on with the story. Finally, there was silence. All for One was still, limp on the cracked ground, smoke and ashes thick in the air. All Might stood, panting, bruised and bloodied, exhausted, ready to fall over at a touch. His goal, his master's goal, was finally complete. All for One was defeated. The silence broke. "Daddy!" A child's voice yelled, and everyone turned. The worn-down heroes, the on-scene reporters, to see a little green-haired boy, no older than 8 or 9, ran full tilt to the center of the battlefield, chased by a young, white-haired teen with a panicked look on his face. The reporters were ready to pounce. All Might had a child? But All Might looked as confused as they were. Before the green-haired boy dropped to his knees next to All for One, tears in his eyes as he shook his father's slack shoulder. "Daddy, wake up!" he said, tears rolling down his young face. "Wake up, Daddy! I don't like this game! Get up, Daddy!" The white-haired teen, if that, and not younger, watched the heroes with wary eyes, clearly scared for his brother, for his father, or what would happen if they were taken. "Brother, we have to go," he said frantically, as he tried to keep himself between All Might's shocked, uncomprehending gaze and his younger brother. "Brother, come on, they'll take us away. We have to go home." Wake up, Daddy!" the little boy yelled, and any intact glass shattered at the force of it, his older brother covering his ears against it as the crowd copied him half a second behind. "Why isn't he getting up, brother? Why?" He looked up at his brother with tears in his eyes, face contorted in a horrible understanding. "Take us home, brother," the elder said, his desperation sinking in for the younger. "Please." The younger screwed up his face in concentration, and All Might finally moved. "I'll kill you!" the little boy yelled, eyes red with tears, at the approaching hero, before a silver bubble enveloped the family, popping and leaving nothing behind. When All Might was told by an 8-year-old that he was going to kill him, he'd expected a lifelong vendetta, showing up once the boy was older and stronger, maybe assassins. He didn't expect to be finishing up with a villain battle barely 2 months later, only to see the street covered in shadows and a building's worth of debris to land directly on him. The hero punched his way out, only to catch a glimpse of green hair before another chunk of the street hit him on the top of his head. All Might smashed the enormous piece of rubble, fully expecting another, only to see an unlikely savior in the form of that white-haired teenager stumbling out of a misty black portal with an aggressive expression. "What was your plan?" he yelled, half-gloved hands thrown in the air as he glared down at his younger brother. "Smash him with rocks?" the child yelled back, little hands and fists. "That's not even a good plan. We're going home," the teenager yelled. "No!" the child yelled. "Yes!" All Might wondered if all siblings were like this. "Boys," he started, hoping to convince them to leave their likely villainous caretakers and be safely raised away from danger and from evil influences. Only for them to yell in unison, turning to him with identical looks of surprise, and another chunk of concrete smashed on his head. When he got out, they were gone. Black portal closed. "Well, that happened." A month after that, A vat of acid was poured on him. Then a mud monster turned loose on him. Then sharks with legs attacked him during a battle. Then he was encased in a chunk of ice. Then worms started growing teeth and chasing him. Surprisingly fast wigglers. And then. Each time, All for One's youngest was there, and each time his older brother scolded him and warped him home before they could be apprehended. It was, and All Might could not believe this was happening because of a literal child, wearing him down. The constant attacks, the feeling of being watched, and his own doubts. Could he even blame the child? Did he have the right? If the child actually attacked him, came at him, could he really? Were taking a toll. His cheeks had hollowed out, eyes ringed in purple from sleepless nights, hands shaking if he didn't hold them tense and steady. Toshinori wasn't sure how long he could last like this. He wasn't sure how to make it stop. This wasn't something he could punch his way out of. The boy was so small. He'd never looked as small as he did, kneeling by his father's side. But Toshinori wasn't the only one with hollow cheeks and dark bags under his eyes. The both of them, they were just children, and Toshinori couldn't regret killing their father, but he did regret leaving them fatherless.
He's getting ideas on how to kill me from Sunday morning cartoons?
Sir Night-Eye looked as tired, baffled, done as Toshinori felt.
He's a child,
Sir Night-Eye said, still trying to understand, even though he'd been the one to tell Toshinori. Baffled, Toshinori decided. Baffled. Sir Night-Eye looked like he couldn't believe what he was about to say.
So we've contacted the studio heads, and they're publishing new episodes focusing on forgiveness and adoption. Do you think it'll work?
Toshinori asked.
If it does,
Sir Night-Eye said,
I'm drinking an entire bottle of scotch.
He massaged the bridge of his nose.
God, where would we even put them?
He wondered. Toshinori thought.
Eraserhead,
he said. Sir Night-Eye looked at him.
You're cruel,
he said.
It's perfect.
The two tried hard to stay serious, and burst out laughing. To the surprise of exactly no one, Green Vengeance, as some idiotic reporter had dubbed the child, was not convinced to forgive All Might. Instead, he threw half a bridge at him. Determined little guy. And he'd apparently worn down his brother, as it was always exactly half an hour before he came and took him home, barring other circumstances. All Might also suspected that the professional assassination attempts, snipers, poison, bombs, were commissioned by the elder brother. One day, he came home to see the teenager, with only one hand ungloved, and placed it on the wall of his house, the other flipping him off. Die, the teenager said, and stepped backwards into a portal. Then his house poofed in a cloud of decayed concrete, all his furniture and belongings crashing to the ground below, and Toshinori felt his palm hit his face. Children. He didn't understand them. After about a year, the assassination attempts stopped abruptly, and eventually they came to the conclusion that they had, for whatever reason, actually stopped, and were not just trying to lure him into a false sense of security. And then, a green and white duo showed up at the USJ, and All Might was reminded of the two boys he couldn't save.
Hey there, Toshi-chan.
The green-haired boy grinned, one hand around Hagakure's now visible neck, his foot grinding into Eraserhead's back.
Miss me?
And that's all for this fic. A little bit of a shorter one, but I love this so much. Little baby Izuku is just trying to kill All Might. Just
like cartoon villain, just vat of acid, just throw acid on him. Yes, of course. This is so funny. I love this fic. It is short and sweet and well written, and it's just lovely. You know, Izuku and Shigaraki being brothers, and just Shigaraki being like, fine, you can try to kill All Might. I'll pick you up after 30 minutes. I just love that. And then, boom, surprise, they're back. It's really good. I love it. And it's like, All For One didn't even die, I'm pretty sure. In the author's notes, it's like, for all you sharp readers out there, you're right that All For One's actual deadness attribute is never stated. After all, you never turn your back on the body. So it's just like, that All Might tried to kill their father. It's just like, death to you! It's great. I love this so much. But yeah, that's gonna be all for this time. If you like the fic, go into the description, go leave the original author kudos, comments, whatever you can, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Okay, but like Shiggy just dusting his house and being like middle finger, fuck you, All Might, just so calmly stepping away. I live for that. That is the exact energy I live for.